Back in the 80s, Saturday morning cartoons weren't just an awesome way to kick off the weekend, they were full-blown commercials. From He-Man, G.I. Joe to the Transformers, they were all on the front lines of one of the greatest toy wars in history. Before that, companies weren't allowed to make children's shows with the intent of selling toys. But in 1984, FCC deregulations allowed just that. And within a few months, the toy aisles were packed and the battle was on. He-Man is commonly known as the first cartoon specifically designed to support a toy line. This was an example of what came to be known as program-length commercials. It wasn't just a cartoon, it was a movement. I mean, we had lunchboxes, PJs, Halloween costumes, and by the end of 1984, they raked in millions of dollars in toy sales. Yeah, you did. Next, G.I. Joe got a makeover. They got smaller figures, more vehicles, and a cartoon. And they were both a hit. And by 1985, G.I. Joe was a household name. Transformers were repackaged from Japanese toys. They were given American names, a backstory, and most important, one of the best cartoons of the 80s. The new TV show and toys launched side by side, and by 1986, Transformers were literally like printing money. By the late 80s, cartoon toys weren't just a trend. They were an industry. And then, the Ninja Turtles started as a black and white comic in 1984. But in 1987, it was rebuilt as a funny cartoon to sell toys. The original Playmates toy line gave us dozens of figures. Of course, we had the Turtles, but they also gave us April O'Neil, Shredder, and waves of one-offs, from Panda Con to Pizza Face. There were vehicles, playsets, a blimp, and by the early 90s, they had sold over $1 billion in toys. Almost every kid had a favorite turtle, every major store had a TMNT display, and if you were lucky, you got to play with some of these figures. It was good times. By the early 90s, Saturday mornings weren't just cartoons. They were toy catalogs. He-Man proved the concept, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and many others refined it, and TMNT turned toy aisles around the country into a full-blown battleground fighting for shelf space. Critics called them program-length commercials, but to kids, these were worlds our imaginations lived in, not just cartoons. The FCC eventually tightened up the rules, but the foundation had already been laid. To this day, the legacy of 80s cartoons still shape how franchises are built. These weren't just cartoons and toys. To some of us, they were our childhood. And if you were there on the floor eating a bowl of cereal while wearing your favorite PJs, you remember. I know I left out a lot of shows, but let me know what your favorite was back then. Mine was probably... Yep. Voltron, Defender of the Universe. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.